Hello and welcome back to Cabincast with
Hi.
Oliver, that's Tom, and also Chris.
Hi.
We are here today to talk about Aquaman,
Yes,
which came
It's
out
the
in
fish boy.
2018.
he can communicate with fish
He can do that,
and send them to attack his enemies.
yes.
1,000
So,
sharks attacking and converging on one person.
Sounds terrifying. So Aquaman, 2018 American superhero film based on the DC Comics character of the same name. And it's
Who
the
was
sixth film
relentlessly mocked.
in the DCEU. And yeah, it is a very clever film because Aquaman is the butt of jokes continuously. But then they cast Jason Momoa as Aquaman. And it was a very good decision because he's a badass. And even when they put him in pretty much the OG suit, he still looks epic.
Yeah.
But before we get into all that stuff, Tom, where did you first see this film?
In cinemas. It's
Ah.
one of only 2 DC films that I've seen in cinemas. This one and the first Wonder Woman.
Uh-huh.
And I went, believe it or not, with my family. So we were all there to watch it. But it was very good. We enjoyed it quite a bit.
Me and Chris also saw it in the cinema.
It's the only DC film I've seen in the cinema.
And I think it's the only DC film I've seen in the cinema.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman was amazing in the cinema.
I wish I'd seen Wonder Woman.
It was so good in the cinema. It was awesome to see some of the scenes in the cinema. And it was just after because there was that one, and you get that feel for like World War One, and then they did 1917, like a little bit after.
1917 came out last year, or the year, but 2019. Wonder Woman definitely came out a few years before that.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, fair enough. But basically, those 2 films best portrayal of World War One combat in a long while.
Which is strange, considering one of them is a superhero film, but you're not wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It did. But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
No.
Yeah. Did we watch it and then later watch Into the Spider-Verse, Chris? I'm pretty sure we watched these back to back.
That's why
I think we watched. Oh god, I can't remember the order we watched.
I'm pretty sure we went with Tan and we watched Aquaman first, went and had food, and then watched Spider-Verse in the evening.
Maybe.
I really regret not watching Aquaman. Into the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse in the cinema was amazing.
That would be amazing.
So good. I saw it twice.
It's so good. You went and looked at it twice.
I did. See, Aquaman release date was 12th December 2018.
Some Star Wars fans did with apparently episode 7 apparently.
Episode 9 I saw 4 times.
Episode
Really?
9 is good.
Yeah.
Ah.
I watched it by myself twice. Well, no, I watched it with the.
You watched it by yourself twice in
No,
cinema.
that's not true. Actually, I watched it once by myself after we went and saw all 3 of them, and then I went and saw it after I'd seen it by myself with Dad, and another time with Ed. But I had Cineworld Unlimited, so
Might as well
do that. Exactly. I saw Endgame
Is
twice
Cineworld
after I
still
saw
a
it.
thing
initially.
now? Or is
Yeah,
it
it's
dead?
open again now. I've just not been back yet. I do intend to.
Cineworld is not going to be completely solved.
They both released on the same day. Both released on the 12th of December 2018. Which makes sense.
In the United States?
In the UK, I think.
It's in the United States on the release date on Wiki, but I don't know.
Both or United Kingdom, 12th December as well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, of the 2 of these films, Spider-Man is the better. However, Aquaman is still a lot of fun. And one of the better DC films. I think it can be
Yes.
said. Though to be fair, I enjoy pretty much all of them.
Fair.
But again, I do enjoy most films.
There's only one film that Ollie's confirmed he did not enjoy, and I think after looking back at it, you went, "It wasn't so bad" or something. Did you?
Artemis Fowl.
It's
a bad film.
I get this one because you were
Even at the time,
excited for this, and then I saw a video like a couple months after it came out, which was like Artemis Fowl is an objectively bad film. I was like, oh, I'm not going to bring that up ever.
At the time, even I said that like the props and like the design of like the LEP stuff was really cool. Actually, I quite enjoyed it. And Judi Dench as
That's a big
Root, even though it really messed with some of the plot ideas and stuff from the book, it didn't really affect how they did it in the film, and she was hilarious. But no, it was a terrible film. I've no idea why they changed what they did. It might have been Disney meddling. It might have just been people got a bit confused.
Or it might have been.
But it was like it was.
Saw a book was like, oh, that's popular. Let's try something with that.
Well, no, because like Artemis Fowl. Okay, we'll get back to Aquaman, guys. I promise.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
But Artemis Fowl, the book, came out in 2001, and it was super popular. And they wanted a film for years, but it came out in 2020. It's 19 years later. It's got 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ouch!
It is horrendous. God.
I mean, is that lower than Avatar? Question mark.
I would hope so, because the Avatar film is far and away better than this.
I mean, I've not seen Artemis Fowl, so I don't know. IMDb for it. Yeah, it's got a 4 out of 10 on IMDb.
4 out of 10, which is fine.
What about on Rotten Tomatoes? Okay, it's got an audience score of 30 and a viewer score of 5. Ouch.
Yeah, 5%, 30%, whereas Artemis Fowl has 8%, 19%, so worse, I would say.
Yeah.
No, so
I mean, I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah.
No, so by the sound of it, it was awful if they did what I think they did.
It's like it's guy who plays Gilderoy Lockhart. Brenner.
Yeah.
It's Brenner. It was him directing, and like he does some really great stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he did the first 2 Thors, which, have their flaws. And, Dark World is considered one of the weaker Marvel films, but they're still good films. And again, the set design and the props and stuff there was on point as well, 100%. So
that's the thing, actually, with Marvel. In general, on their films, even if they're not super successful when it comes to like critics and stuff, the audience rating tends to be quite good.
Yeah.
Regardless. And let's be honest, no, you shouldn't be judging where you go based on a critic's enjoyment of a movie.
No.
You should be basing it on what the general audience consensus is. Because those are the types of people that you're most close to. Because, yeah, it's nice to have critics come in and go like, oh, well, this is bad, they could have done this better, the cinematography here is good. But they're talking about things that, let's be honest, most people won't have heard of. Or really care about. Also, because I've just remembered this, we won't be addressing the situation with one of the actresses in this movie.
Yes, no, we're not touching the stuff
touching that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I've literally just realised that and was like, oh, I better nip that in the bud. We're not going near that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, it is a very interesting thing to dissect because of how the other party involved in that whole thing has been treated comparatively in regards to the series that they're in, and how she is still in this and they are not in any of that stuff. But
again,
anyway, into the actual film. So this film came out after Justice League,
Mhm.
in which we had seen Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and he was still pretty great in that. He is much better, as is everyone in the Snyder
Snyder
Cut.
Cut. Snyder Cut. I need to watch Snyder Cut.
You do need to watch the Snyder Cut.
We
You need to
when-
find time
Yeah.
to sit down and watch the film,
Hey.
and then have a break, and then watch more of the film, and then have a break, and then watch more of the film.
Say, Ollie. After you do, we could skip maybe like I don't know, because next time we do a like a Subnautica, we could switch it out for just watching the Snyder Cut if you want.
That could be interesting. We'll talk about this more
Mhm.
when we're not meant to be talking about Aquaman.
Yeah, no, I'm just making a suggestion as well.
It's
because
a
I
good
wanna do that.
suggestion. We should definitely take a look
Mhm.
at doing that. Anyway, anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah, no. So, it grossed $1.148 billion worldwide, making it the highest grossing DCEU film, and the highest grossing DCU film, DC Comics character based film even.
Mhm.
It's the 5th highest grossing film of 2018 and the 20th highest grossing film of all time. So
really?
it didn't
Wow.
do all too badly.
No, that's really good actually.
At least it was. That may have changed.
I mean, I suppose proportionally.
It's now at 20. It's now at 23.
Mhm.
Because what's come out since then? I think Endgame. Yeah, Endgame came out since then.
Endgame, yeah, Endgame would have done that. Star Wars potentially.
I was just looking. The new Lion King
Yeah, new Lion King.
came out since then, and
What did you think of
that's
the new Lion King, actually, Ollie?
I think we did a review of this. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Hmm.
I wasn't about to get in a hissy fit about, oh, it's just the same as the old one. I had fun with it, but
Yeah.
I understood why people had issues with it. Rise of Skywalker is down at 32nd.
Really?
Yeah. The highest ranked stars from at the
That's the
moment
Phantom Menace for you.
is The Last Jedi. No, it's not. Sorry, it's The Force Awakens, which was at 3rd and is now at 4th because again, Avengers Endgame
Yeah.
tops it. But yeah, Force Awakens.
Yeah, where is
Jurassic-
Last Jedi then?
Last Jedi. Let's go through again. We will talk about Aquaman, guys. I swear.
We will.
The
Don't
ranking
worry.
is Avatar, Avengers Endgame, Titanic, or James Cameron, Star Wars Force Awakens, Avengers Infinity War at 5th, and then Jurassic World, The Lion King, which is the new one.
Yeah, the new one.
The Avengers in 8th,
Mhm.
Furious 7, which I have not seen, in 9th, and in 10th, Frozen 2.
Wow. Frozen 2, really? Wow.
Which I am very happy about because I love Frozen 2. It's so much better than the first one. But
I haven't seen it.
it's I saw the cinema and I did feel judged, but I
How many
do not care.
times?
Just once.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only time I got to watch Frozen was when my my cousin was over, and she's like, "Well, we're gonna watch Frozen." I'm like, okay.
The first one's pretty good. For me, the second one's better. That's a minority opinion, but hey. 11th is Avengers: Age of Ultron, which was in 5th. Black Panther. 13th,
Oh, Black
which was in
Panther was good.
3rd, was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Really? Oh, okay.
14th, which was in 9th, was The Last Jedi. To be fair, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows came in 2011.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like
insane.
all of the blockbuster things that we have these days, pretty much.
Yeah, it would have been there with what? Just Titanic and maybe Avatar?
Titanic, Avatar. Yeah, that's it, 'cause it's pre-Avengers.
Yeah, that would have been insane.
Yeah, so it was just James Cameron and then Harry Potter.
Back when superhero movies didn't make any money.
Exactly. Then yeah, so at 14th, Stars Last Jedi, and at 15th, Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World, and 16th is Frozen.
Well, Fallen World's up there.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that. It's a stupid movie. but I love
Incredibles
it.
2 is in 18th, which is pretty neat.
Mhm.
And then Minions is in 21st.
Oh no! No!
Hey, I saw Minions twice. That was the first
God
film
damn
that I
it,
saw multiple
Facebook.
times. And honestly, I quite enjoyed it, but it's not an amazing film. To be fair, actually, most of the Despicable Me films are on here.
Yeah. They were good films.
A lot of animators. Lion King is at 50th at the bottom. Despicable Me 2. Anyway, we could do a whole episode on this.
Minions. Why am
I'm
I
not
having
sure.
a brain fart? Why can I not remember this? It doesn't matter. Aquaman.
Aquaman. So
Aquaman. Let's talk about Aquaman. Actually, the film.
Yeah, the film received praise for its visual effects. They were great. Production design was great. Tone, action scenes, yep, that was all great. Wan's direction, it's directed by James Wan. Yep, all great. Jason Momoa's performance, again, also great. Along with, just to go over the main people in it, there was also Amber Heard, Willem Dafoe, Patrick Wilson, Dolph Lundgren, who was it was hilarious to see. But I did love seeing him with his like ginger hair, being a fish man.
I am Fishman.
Yahya Abdul Mateen, Ludi Lin, Temuera Morrison, who awesome, and Nicole Kidman. Pretty star-studded cast, and they're all pretty great. However, its plot and runtime were criticised. Which is fair. They are not its strongest points.
No.
The runtime thing.
Right.
It wasn't an issue for me. But the mid part of it, where it goes into like a Indiana Jones, Uncharted, Tomb Raider style film for like an hour.
Yes. So what? Okay.
It is a bit different. And sure, the plot's a bit. It's not perfect.
He had to go get
the
magical doodah to go defeat his brother.
Exactly, or the Ocean Master. But
okay, just the names of the supervillains. It reminds me as to why the comic book was made fun of. Ocean Master.
Ocean Master. I mean, yeah.
It just makes me giggle.
But then again, if you are the master of all the oceans, then that's actually pretty concerning.
Ocean Master, biggest empire on the earth.
Exactly. A sequel, Aquaman of the Lost Kingdom, is set to be released December 2022.
Don't do what you did with Wonder Woman. Even though I haven't seen that movie, so I can't actually talk.
No, exactly. So,
but apparently bad. We'll see.
I've heard bad, and
yeah, I've heard a lot of bad.
Yeah.
But then again,
we'll see.
You've always got to remember that these people, who do this on YouTube, who discuss this sort of stuff, and even critics as well, they have their own agenda, and they're also looking at things that the normal viewer might not.
Indeed. So yeah, the film starts in the past in 1985 in Maine with the lighthouse keeper Thomas Curry, who's played by Temuera Morrison, aka Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Where?
Fett. New Boba Fett.
No, where, Ollie?
What do you mean where?
Oh,
right. No, I get the.
Come on, guys.
Boba Fett? Where?
Where?
Oh.
That's an embarrassingly long time.
Yeah, I was like, well, did you just not understand? Yeah, sorry. He rescues Queen Atlanna, who is the queen of the underwater kingdom of Atlantis, during a storm. They fall in love and have a son named Arthur, who has the power to communicate with sea creatures. Sure, okay. It does more than that, but okay, Wikipedia. But when Atlantean soldiers are sent by King Orvax to retrieve Atlanna, who fled her arranged marriage in Atlantis, she's forced to abandon her family and returns to Atlantis, entrusting her advisor, Nuidis Volko, who is played by...
Come on, Ollie.
Willem Dafoe.
There we go.
I read it earlier, I just completely forgot his name for a second. To train Arthur, and he becomes a skilled warrior, but rejects Atlantis upon learning that Atlanna was executed by Orvax for loving a human and having a half-breed son. And then in the present day, sometime after the defeat of Steppenwolf, Arthur confronts pirates hijacking a Russian Akula-class submarine. Their leader, Jesse Kane, is killed in a failed attempt to kill
They
Arthur.
actually specified the... They did! I love that!
Yeah.
I love that they did that. That's cute.
It is.
Also, that submarine looks badass.
It's a pretty neat submarine.
The Russians know how to make submarines. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, except for the ones that sink.
Like, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about
We
that.
don't talk about the Kursk.
No.
Putin's going to come and take away your family now, Chris.
Oh, not again.
But his son David vows revenge.
Yes, Black Manta.
Yes, Black Manta, who is a villain who we got a little bit of here, but I imagine we'll get more of in the sequel.
DC couldn't just call him Manta.
I mean, it does sound less cool, but yeah, no. Also that. I'm not sure if they've actually name dropped the character in the film. I
can't remember. Maybe not. Yeah.
So, anywho, yeah.
We will move on quickly from this subject.
We do. Yeah. David vows revenge. Orm Marius, Orvax's son, who's now Atlantis' new king, following his father's death, and Arthur's half-brother, attempts to convince the King Nereus of Zebul to help unite Atlantis and destroy the surface world for polluting the oceans.
Yes. And then the Russians do a sneaky.
Yeah, Nereus notes that if Orm unites all 4 kingdoms, he'll receive the title of Ocean Master, commander of the most powerful force on the planet.
I love that name.
And yeah, a Russian submarine attacks and is destroyed by Orm, convincing Nereus to join forces to defend the oceans. However, this is obviously very convenient.
Bit convenient how the Russians were like, we must destroy. Maybe they mentioned the Kursk. Maybe that's it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he positions it very close to the service. He's basically set it up.
Mm-hmm.
Which King Nereus already knows. He just wanted an excuse to join him anyways, as revealed later.
Yeah.
And like all the different mounts they have, like they have seahorses and sharks. It's all very silly, but also all makes perfect sense.
Yes.
It is also cool to see the past of Atlantis. It's kind of like steampunk-esque mixed with like Greek stuff.
Rome. Yeah, Rome, Greek. Traditional Atlantis stuff.
Exactly. And then I believe it was 7 kingdoms, but now there's only 4, which are like actual kingdoms.
7 kingdoms, you say?
I think it's 7, and now it's 4.
The start
7 kingdoms for the 7 seas.
Yes, of course. That makes sense. But now you've only got the
7 kingdoms of the Iron Throne.
Oh no, we don't talk about that.
You've got the Zebul, you've got
we can talk about the book.
The Atlantis people. And then you've got the fish
Atlantis,
people and the crab people.
You've got the fish people, you've got the crab people, and you've got Zebul.
Yeah.
And
then there's the trench, the deserters, who are in a desert.
Yeah, the deserters.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, because the Sahara used to be an ocean.
Ocean.
I've just realised, okay, and I'm sorry for ruining this movie, but I have to mention it. For them to suggest that the deserters got into the Sahara Desert, okay, because it was underwater, would mean that basically Atlantis would have had to have existed before humanity had evolved. And there's a problem with that because the whole backstory behind Atlantis is that there was a bunch of humans in it, and then it all sunk and they evolved.
Yeah, it's fine. They had nuclear reactors there.
That's
and
not
the radioactive waste.
I'm not sure if that's how Atlantis exists in
pretty sure it is. That is like, I'm pretty sure that's the thing that they say, isn't it?
We're not going to go into this right now. I'm pretty sure the Atlanteans are a separate
race
in DC.
But then how does crossbreeding work?
Because they're close
They need
enough.
to be, that's you have to at least.
It's a superhero
It's
film.
a superhero thing, Tom.
I really know. I must use logic and evolution.
Or maybe they just maybe one of them evolved to live in the sea and one of them evolved to be people. Maybe they have a common ancestor,
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna have common ancestry. Still work. Again,
all I'm saying, it don't make no sense.
No,
we crossbred with Neanderthals.
It don't make no sense.
Atlanteans.
because the Sahara Desert was not a desert when humanity was around. When it was around there.
It's only been a desert when humanity's around.
Yeah, basically.
So anyway, I mean, to be fair, that's the specific Atlanteans as well. The deserters could have been around a long time before them, technically.
Bad. Again, I thought they all came from. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about it later. I'm sure. I'll go search it up.
We will do that later.
I'll do it now, but you keep talking.
I'll be honest. If you're trying to find plot holes in this one, I imagine there's a fair few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously. But
Anywho.
I like talking about this sort of stuff because it's interesting thought experiments.
Nereus' daughter Mera, who is betrothed to Orm, who again we also saw a little bit of in Justice League, refuses to aid them, and journeys to the surface to ask Arthur's help. However, he declines. But then there's a tsunami, which almost kills his dad, but she helps Arthur save him, and so he reluctantly accompanies Mera to the rendezvous with Volko. And they have these really cool, like, underwater places where they, like, move all the water out of the way so they can speak normally. Otherwise, they speak like, and you can't really hear what they're saying. But they're ambushed by Orm's men, and Arthur is captured.
Oof.
And then Arthur is chained and presented to Orm, who blames him and the surface for Alana's death, and offers Arthur an opportunity to leave forever, but Arthur challenges him to a duel in a ring of underwater lava, which is pretty neat. There's also the drumming octopus from the comics, whose name I don't remember, but it's hilarious and amazing that he's in there.
David.
Octopus are literally the smartest animal in the ocean.
What about dolphins?
Okay, dolphins and octopus are collectively the smartest creatures in the ocean.
Okay.
Yeah, so Aquaman director confirms the movie's best cameo is a true piece of comics history. One of Aquaman's oldest allies almost had a bigger role too. But
wait a second, why do I get the feeling that there was a mosasaur in this?
There might have been.
I'm gonna get annoyed if there's a mosasaur in this, Ollie.
It's fine. Anyway.
It's gonna irrationally annoy me.
It's fine. Yeah, there was an octopus in the comics, and he like played all sorts of instruments at once and things like that. So
that's a reference, everyone, to that time that we did, the one about the mysterious stuff being in the sea, and they were like, "Oh,
it could be
it could be a mosasaur." I was like, "No, it could not."
So anyway, yeah, Arthur loses the fight because he does well when they're on like a 2D plane, but as soon as they add a third axis and they're just in like the water, he hasn't really trained like that, so he kind of loses a bit.
Yes.
But luckily,
and there wasn't a mosasaur.
Okay, cool. Luckily, Mera rescues Arthur, and they journey to the fallen kingdom of the deserters, hidden under the Sahara Desert, where the trident was forged.
Which leads them to Sicily.
Which leads them to Sicily, and also where we get Africa, but not by Toto, by Pitbull.
Oh, that was a thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is in the Sahara Desert bit, not in the Sicily bit, but yeah.
Oh.
And it's gonna say, okay, cool, I'm glad you got the song, but...
Oh no.
To be fair, the Toto version wouldn't have fit.
No, it wouldn't have.
This one did fit better, but it was still just like, that's...
Why Pitbull? Why Pitbull?
And anywho, Orm meets David, the son, revealing that the submarine that attacked was the one hijacked by David, hired by Orm to stage an attack on the surface to Nereus' support, as most people probably did expect, because it would have been way too convenient otherwise.
Yes. It would have been really annoying if the Russians just, decided to declare war on the fish people.
Indeed. And as a result, Orm gives David a prototype Atlantean battlesuit to kill Arthur, and imprisons Volko after learning of his betrayal, and coerces the Atlantean kingdom of the fishermen by literally killing their king, and then forcing the queen and princess, who were next in line for the throne, to assemble their forces out of fear. He's not a
Otherwise
great guy.
known as being mean. Don't do
Yes. Yeah. And I like that we do get the comic accurate Black Manta helmet because he's got this like laser thing and it just completely destroys the first helmet he makes.
it. Yeah.
Like it's a logical in-universe explanation.
Yeah.
So yeah, an armored David, because himself as it says Black Manta apparently, ambushes
okay.
Arthur and Mera in Sicily. After they do some like, there's some really cute stuff
Yes.
where someone gives her some flowers and she doesn't know what she does, so she eats them.
Yeah.
And then he eats them too because he just goes along with it, and it's quite sweet. They have pretty good chemistry.
So, you're eating that? Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an amazing long take in one shot where they're running on the rooftops, and it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. Very impressive stuff. But eventually, David is very badly injured, and thrown off a cliff, which is just pretty bad.
Yeah.
But he also does injure Arthur pretty badly. But yeah, they continue to look for the trident after he gets a bit better, and they end up fending off the amphibious monsters of the trench, which is a super creepy creature. And James Wan is initially, I believe, a horror director. And they really shines through because some of the shots here, especially with like the flare, is really good. It's really creepy.
Oh, this was where we got like the dinosaur island.
And then they go down into the ocean and find a wormhole that transports them to an uncharted sea at the center of the Earth.
Yes.
It's Hollow Earth.
So we've it's Hollow Earth. He's
there are
down there with
dinosaurs.
the people who go down there in Journey to the Center of the Earth, and also the Nazis because they're also down there.
And also
Iron Sky told me.
Yes.
Awkward silence time.
Awkward silence time. What happens next?
What happens next? Awkward silence. That's what happens next.
Yep, sorry. What happens next is they find that, in fact, his mum's alive.
Yeah.
Having
that was a thing. Completely forgot about.
Who was actually sacrificed to the trench for having Arthur, but survived and escaped to the uncharted sea, alive and well.
Nice.
Which, have you guys seen Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Nope.
I've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay, I will not talk about that then.
You cannot talk about it.
But yeah, it's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Arthur ends up facing the Carathan, a mythical Leviathan and keeper of the Trident, and voices his determination to protect both Atlantis and the surface, proving his worth and reclaiming the Trident, which grants him control over the 7 seas. I believe the Carathan is voiced by someone.
Mm-hmm.
And by someone, I think she's voiced by Mary Poppins.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna
native
check
inhabitants of the hidden sea. Compsognathus, Pteranodon, and Tylosaurus.
There you go.
The more you know. Which means the yeah, well, I mean, there's more than that as well, because I literally just looked at the thing. I could see sauropods. God damn it! The wiki has lied to me.
Yeah, Julie Andrews. who they put it in here as voicing the racist sea monster, which I mean, I suppose, yeah, kind of.
Nice.
But anyway, he gets the trident,
Yes.
and we get the proper traditional like orange and green Aquaman suit, except it looks really cool.
Yeah.
I still think it looks a bit
It's
like.
good. It looks
Well, you
good.
are wrong, Chris, as usual. No,
Oh.
it
Got
looks.
him.
It's not for everyone.
You're not allowed to have diverging opinions here on Cabincast, or we will just shoot you down.
No, it's yeah, it's about as cool as the suit could look,
Yes.
and whether you think it looks cool or not is obviously up to individual interpretation.
Subjective.
It's very subjective, but you know,
I like it. You like it. Chris
I
doesn't
like it.
it.
You like it. Chris will be Chris. And yeah, it's not for everyone. But if they wanted to ever, try and use the original suit, it was a pretty cool, and they really tried their best with it.
Yeah.
But
like
yeah,
how in Iron Man they always like change the suits to make it look better and better and better as they went on.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they adapt it in the 2022 film.
Yeah.
But yeah, Orm basically and all of his allies leads an army against the crustacean forces of the Kingdom of the Brine.
It's the
who are all
kingdom of the
crab people,
crabs. The crabs.
to complete his preparations, because they're kind of like the dwarves in a way. They seem very much like dwarves, even though they're crabs. But as Orm declares himself Ocean
Dwarf
Master,
crabs.
Arthur and Mera, with the assistance of the Caravan and the Trench, lead an army of marine creatures against him.
Yes.
And you've got a very distinct, it's very clear kind of battle. Obviously, mostly CGI, but it's a
It
pretty
looks good.
CGI battle.
It looks good.
But Orm's followers do embrace Arthur as the true king upon learning that he wields Atlan's trident. And Arthur defeats Orm in combat, where he does his cool spinny thing that like adds water to the air. It's pretty neat. It's a callback.
He precipitates the water, does he?
Maybe. It's the thing the trident does, and he just spins it, but yeah. But he does not kill him. And Orm accepts his fate after discovering that Arthur has rescued their mother.
Yes.
And Orm is led away, but Arthur tells him that they should talk when he is ready. Which is, nice that he actually wants to try and reconcile instead of just being like, I never want to see you again.
Yeah.
And then Atlano reunites with Arthur's father, Thomas, which is honestly probably one of the best parts of the film.
That's where Boba Fett was hiding all these years before he popped up in The Mandalorian.
The lighthouse.
Just in the lighthouse on Earth.
It's very cool. And then Arthur ascends to the throne with Mera by his side, and we get his "I am Aquaman," and
I am Aquaman.
It's hilariously cheesy, but it's about right.
This is the thing with this movie. Like, you can poke holes in it all you want. I've already shown a few ways you can poke holes in it, but it's a fun movie.
Mm-hmm. And then we get a mid-credit scene where David is rescued by Dr. Stephen Shin, a marine scientist and conspiracy theorist obsessed with Atlantis, and he agrees to lead Shin there in exchange for his help in his revenge against Arthur. Which, again, with the whole idea of the Lost Kingdom and stuff, probably leading into next time. But yeah, one of the big things I would say about this film is it's not a superhero film; it's a high fantasy film.
Yeah.
That features a superhero.
Which is good, because you want your thing to look and feel different from the other ones.
Yeah.
Like, Wonder Woman has this, like, at least in the first one, it has like this horrors of war sort of theme. And it also has that very nice twist at the end where they get to the big bad and they're like, spoilers for Wonder Woman, and they're like, she defeats him, and she's like, now the war will stop. And he just goes, what do you think I was doing? What, I was actually controlling them? No, they're doing this themselves because humanity is awful. Why are we requiring awkward pauses again? Which is nice. It was a refreshing view from a superhero movie that you can't just defeat the bad and everything will be okay. And this is sort of a similar thing where it's like, it's high fantasy.
Yeah.
It'd be nice, like the Superman films are the superhero films of this universe.
Yeah.
Almost. Sort of Superman versus Batman, and the Justice League.
Yeah.
Whereas this was the sort of experimenting, and it's kind of a bit sad that the DCU has just sort of been not destroyed, but effectively put on hold. Because this type of experimenting was what was producing the really good films.
Well, what's interesting is we had this, and then we had Shazam come out, and that's another really fun film.
Yeah.
Again, by I'm pretty sure horror director, which also shines through in places. But
yeah, it's a lot. They seem to have a lot more confidence than maybe Marvel did early on to try different things and different themes. I mean, obviously now there's you got your magic one, you got Thor, whatever Thor's style is, amazing, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just I just find it a bit sad that it's got to the point where it's like, well,
I mean, we've got
basically dead in the water at this point. Other than, there's Aquaman 2 coming out.
We've got Aquaman 2, we're getting Shazam 2, and we're getting Black Adam separately to that. We had Wonder Woman 2. We've got the Suicide Squad. I don't know which place that takes place in.
Oh god. Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad's not great. The Suicide Squad looks amazing.
We'll see.
Have you seen any of the trailers for it?
No.
It's James Gunn.
Okay.
It's James Gunn doing a film that's kind of like Guardians, but it's the Suicide Squad. It's got a bunch.
Well,
it's actually got like a lot of characters. It seems to know what it's doing.
Yeah.
It's got Peter Capaldi. So.
It's got Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi doing?
He's the thinker.
Ooh.
He's got a load of bolts sticking out of his head.
Yeah, they help him think or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Couple other fun facts. In February 2019, Warner Bros. Announced that a horror-tinged spin-off called The Trench was in development, with One producing and Noah Gardner and Aidan Fitzgerald writing the script, and it would focus on the amphibious monsters that Arthur and Miller faced in Aquaman. But in April 2021, they decided to cancel the project, though stated it may be revived in the future, which I hope they do at some point, because...
that's an interesting direction to go with it, but yeah, okay.
And also, Jason Momoa and director James Wan have clarified that Aquaman takes place after Zack Snyder's Justice League, not the theatrical release.
Nice.
Which, kind of probably does actually fit in a little better. It fit with the other one as well, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just a mess. It's very similar to almost a worse case than the Star Wars sequels, where they sort of rushed into it. Because at least in the Star Wars sequels, they had some sort of plan. Whereas sometimes with DC, I'm just sort of looking at it, I'm like, they really did just try to capitalize on Marvel in certain senses, and it's a shame because there was, like I say, a lot of good stuff here. That if it'd been allowed to maybe a little bit more development.
Yeah, it's like.
And that's another thing. I prefer the DC. I still do, to be fair. Prefer the DC comics and the DC characters to the Marvel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of insanely interesting stories that DC has put out over the years, but it's just It's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I mean the trilogy that Zack Snyder wanted to do with Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Justice League, just it didn't happen. Like, but Justice League wasn't, I think, supposed to. I don't know if he always planned to put it there, or if he wanted another film before that, like a Man of Steel 2 or something. I'd have to look that up.
What
But
I don't see is why they couldn't have just taken it a bit. So, because Man of Steel, in my opinion, was quite a good film. Had its problems. Wasn't necessarily like the. It wasn't like the lightning in the bottle that they wanted, but it was similar to sort of how like the original Iron Man was a decent film that had some problems with it.
Sure.
That then kicked it off. But then they went straight to. I think they went straight to Batman vs Superman after that, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then Batman vs Superman was I don't know what that movie was. It hurts my head, that movie.
It was not for everyone.
Yeah. Although that one also had like a extended cut as well, didn't it?
Well, yes, because
Which
most of
made it better.
It did. Most of Zack Snyder's films, like Watchmen, Sucker Punch, Batman vs Superman, the Snyder Cut, all have a director's cut because studios love to meddle. And surprise, surprise, they make the films worse.
Yeah.
Justice League was a slightly different situation because that was where he had started the project and then lost his daughter to suicide.
Yeah.
And they basically nudged him out and were already nudging him out over it by what it sounds like, and got someone else to take it over, and that's just a completely different mess.
Yeah.
To what happened with the other ones. Because the other ones are like the scenes that he had shot were not in the right order, like as he would have put them, and there's a few things missing. Whereas Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League are two very different things.
Very different.
They're very different. But yeah.
Yeah, and then also right after Batman vs Superman, they did what's it called? They did Suicide Squad, the first one, not Dusk Ghost, Suicide Squad. And I'm pretty sure they also didn't they do like Birds of Prey as well at some point.
Birds of Prey came out after, and that's quite fun.
Is it?
Yeah, Birds of Prey was after Justice League. That was last year or 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
What's interesting? It was after Shazam and Aquaman.
Oh, okay.
What's interesting to me is people always go on about how Marvel did so many films before they started their cinematic universe with the Avengers. They did one more film.
Yeah.
Marvel had Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America.
Yeah.
It's Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, even though it's not related, but technically that's a 4th film, and then Justice League.
You kind of needed to establish some of the characters though, because the issue I always felt was you get into your big team up one, and you've seen Superman in 2 films, you've seen
Batman in 1 film.
You've seen Batman in 1 film, you've seen
and Wonder Woman in like 1 and a little bit.
Film. Yeah, which is like, okay, that's the 3 main guys, but you've seen nothing of Aquaman, you've seen nothing of the Flash,
and nothing.
Still haven't seen anything of the Flash, which is a bit of a shame because he's again a really good character.
We are getting a solo movie for him still, I think.
Yeah, this just wasn't enough development. And again, Batman vs Superman. Yes, you get Batman, but it wasn't just a Batman film on its own. And I know there's the whole thing about they didn't want to redo the Christian Bale stuff, and just because everyone's seen Batman at this point.
Yeah,
but it kind of. Yeah, it just kind of felt weird.
Batman in Batman vs Superman is where it's his 3rd arc that you're thrown into. Not his 3rd arc, his like 3rd phase.
Yeah, where he's sort of like almost not.
Well, it's where he does kill.
Yeah.
He's jaded because he's lost, like, if not multiple, one Robin to the Joker.
Yeah.
and that's
it's
not
after
for
Todd
everyone.
Howard, isn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
It's after Todd Howard, and they don't have
the
yeah.
Damien.
Not Damien's not the one that comes next. It's Dick Grayson. I know he said Todd Howard there. That's not right.
Todd Howard.
It's Todd Howard as Robin. Jason Todd.
Jason Todd. That's who you meant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I was supposed to say.
I was like, Todd Howard? I know Todd's right, but
I cannot remember the next Robin, but he's the Robin in Batman, the animated series.
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake,
Drake.
that's it. And then
it's
Damian Wayne.
Damien. Yeah. Anyway.
What about Stephanie Brown? It's apparently on that list, whoever that is.
That is also a Robin, but I cannot remember where she fits in.
Well, she's number 4, apparently, according to
Oh,
my
is she?
amazing
So
list I just read.
before
Before Damian Wayne.
Okay. Well, that
Okay.
explains it.
Well, yeah.
I think we are done with the plot here, and we're beginning
done with
to
the
ramble. So
Well, we've been rambling this whole time. We did not
Yeah.
have that much to say about
This
it.
has been a ramble.
I'm trying to move it on, Ollie.
It's all right. But no, so all I was going to say is you were correct. But when you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, they have characters that you
I know.
discover in that film. It's just
We need to
in
go watch it.
that
We need
one,
to watch
it's just Cyborg's character is Booyah,
Mhm.
which is, I mean, it's a great line from Teen Titans, but
Mm.
yeah. So like summarizing thoughts about the film. For me, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy the action. The costumes are cool. And the length and plot didn't bother me too much, but they are not perfect by any means. And the horror stuff was all pretty on point as well.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I thought it was like I say, I think it's a very fun movie. It has its flaws, it has its holes that you can poke it in, but I mean, most movies do. And for what it is, it's really good.
Sure. Chris?
It was entertaining to look at, very pretty. As long as I didn't pay too much attention to the story, it was very enjoyable.
Yeah. That seems fair. So rating for personal enjoyment, for me, it's probably a 7, maybe 7.5.
Yeah, similar for me, I would say. It's not. I can't justify it going any lower than 7. Put it that way, because it is an entertaining movie, and that's kind of what my thing is. It's sort of like 1, 2 is the worst. 3,
Okay, this is
5
about
is
your
like
enjoyment
promise.
of it. It's not about its critical quality.
Yeah, I'm not talking about its critical quality. I'm just saying 1 to 2 is something that I find objectively bad.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the middle is sort of before 7. I can see where they were going, but they didn't quite execute it. And then 7 and upwards is something that I enjoyed and something I really enjoyed.
Sure. And Chris?
Let's give it a nice 7.2.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll round off that episode. There. I guess that was a bit all over the place, but it's because we do not actually record Cabincast episodes usually very much anymore. We do.
Yeah. We also don't have because we used to have that structure, didn't we? But we've sort of let that go since we haven't been meeting in the cabin anymore.
Indeed.
That's soon to change.
Someday
because
we'll
the
get back to
COVID
that,
going away.
Touch wood.
Everybody, touch wood.
Mm.
Wish the COVID away.
Mm-hmm.
And also use vaccines. Don't just wish it away. Use the vaccines as well.
But yeah, with that, we'll leave this episode here. So thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cabincast. For more episodes, go to www.cabincast.podbean.com or use the Podbean app. You can now also find us on iTunes and Pocket Casts under Cabincast and on YouTube. The uploads here are quite behind. Finally, you can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Cabincast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.